Hi guys, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel. If you've been here before, if this is your first time, welcome. I hope you find some inspiration. This is the first of the month and this is a hop that I am hosting. Lots of YouTube friends are playing along. We are working our way through sketches from a bundle / class at Scrapbook Generation, which is the Creating with Sketches. It might be called New Creating with Sketches. I believe it's a revamp of the old original sketch support class, but it is sort of like the core bundle or like download that I tend to recommend to people when they ask, because to me it does a really good job of breaking down sketches and how you look at them. I will link it down below in the description, along with links to all the videos that are participating in March. Now, the base sketch, or the original sketch that we are working with this month, is a one-page design. I have modified mine to be a two-page design. I might still have my paperwork out. I picked a couple different modifications. So if you have the download, we're working off of the one-page number 3 sketch. One of the modifications that I have done is to turn it into a 2-page. And I'm basically working off of option 25, I believe. And my theme is 4th of July. And because I've pulled this product out, I actually ended up doing 2 layouts with all of this stuff, so I believe my videos for March and April are going to be from the same event. I tend to separate sort of the nice posed family shots and then more of just the fun block party element that's going on for this event into 2 different pages. And to get started, I am cutting out strips of paper in some of my favorite patterns. I kind of wanted to have it basically be red, white, and blue. In this instance, I threw in more aqua than blue. And I did mix in, I think, what would be considered A-sides and more interesting graphic-wise, icons like the jars and the USA repeating phrase over and over again are technically very bright and colorful, but those are taking up space in sort of the white section for strips that I wanted. I think in a perfect world, I wouldn't have burned through a lot of my Doodlebug petite print stash. Here you can see I am digging, thinking maybe I still have some of the white / gray petite prints. Those I tend to use up first because there's just something really good about a tone on tone that reads as a white, and I tend to use them pretty quickly. So that's when I was okay, what's something else that we can kind of pull in? And I was maybe notebook paper would work in this instance, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I did strips in a similar type of setup on my second layout that I'll share next month. That one I actually pulled in a gray wood grain, and to me that reads as the white in the red, white, and blue. I did cut out that journaling spot with the intention to put my journaling on there. However, I forgot. I forgot I cut it, forgot it existed, couldn't tell you where it is right now. My journaling, I ended up just, you'll see later, I'm just going to type it up into a blank area on my photo section. After I picked my strips of paper was when I figured out, well, shoot, I need to figure out what I'm going to do for background paper, and I wasn't really feeling the white textured cardstock that's my go-to. So I pulled out this craft. It's not a craft cardstock, it's craft printed pattern paper. I bought a whole pack of it at Tuesday Morning years ago, and it's just a really good background basic for me. And then I'm using this punch from Stampin' Up! To do a fishtail banner on the outer edges. I will have to do some research and find out if this is still available. I do know that that's kind of a frustration. I was reading on a forum the other day that people were talking about whether or not punches were coming back. To me, punches are like scissors and a trimmer. They're just kind of going to be always around for me, especially for things like this. So I kind of hope maybe punches will have like a resurgence, but I doubt it. But I'm curious to see if they do. If this one's still available, I will try to link it. Like I said, it is from Stampin' Up. So if you have like a demonstrator, I would say go through them. Anything that I would link would be directly from like their site. But punches specifically, you can usually have good luck on like Etsy or eBay or like buy sell Facebook groups. You can usually find punches that people are selling. So when I go to kind of assemble all these background strips, I am just trying to make sure that there's roughly an even margin around the bottom, top, and outer edge. I kind of eyeball this. I eyeball the spacing between them as well. I don't always do a good job keeping them straight. When I get towards the end of these, I do have to kind of go through and adjust them. The majority of this is going to be covered up with a large photo block, but I do try my best to get things lined up as straight because I know everything else that goes on top. In theory, I'm going to be using these strips to, attempt to line everything up. This is at the point where I was like, why does this one on the top look so weird? And a lot of this is 100% I put something down crooked. Some of it is the pattern of the paper will sometimes cause me to think that something's crooked, and when I check it on like my mat and my ruler, things are fine. This was 100% user error. So I'm going to go ahead, I just wiggle them, try to get them the best I can, cut off those ends so that everything over there is like straight, neat as possible. I go through my stash of DMC floss and I try to just pick colors that either match really well for a tone on tone or contrast. So sometimes I'll use white on, so say like I didn't do it this time, but like sometimes I'll stitch white on top of red because I want it to be like that contrast and like really noticeable. For this one, I just did red on red. I matched up a lot of the aqua sections. The white, I think I used a gray thread because I wanted it to still sort of read as a white, but I wanted it to be a little bit more noticeable. Plus, I'm out of white. I think I had like 2 strands. And so yeah, here you can see I got everything finished. I did not go all the way to the left because I knew that I was going to be, like I said, doing a photo collage over there. And at this point, I'm going to use the page that I have done to line up everything else and basically repeat the process. This is one of those things where I love the look, the finished look of the hand stitching, but for some reason, stitching something as simple as a bunch of straight lines takes me forever. And I even posted pictures in my Facebook group to show that I take this everywhere. I took these to my daughter's dive class and probably looked like a crazy person sitting in the corner sewing on paper, but to me, it was a better use of my time than sort of just sitting there, or typically I bring my Kindle and I read, but I wanted to make sure that I was kind of making progress and getting the stitching done. I stitched on the other 4th of July layout as well, so by that point I was just kind of like, why does it take me forever to stitch straight lines? So I'm curious, if you do hand stitching on your layouts, do you feel like it takes forever? And do you think it's like, are you like me where you, even though it takes forever, you still absolutely love the end result? I've heard from many people that will tell me, I love seeing it on your layouts, but I will never do it because it's too much work. And I 100% get it. I think things like stitching and like crazy amounts of die cutting is not for everybody. It is something that I enjoy. A lot of times I will sit downstairs if I have layouts to stitch on, and that's kind of when I will catch up on either YouTube or I will put on like a TV show that I don't have to pay attention to, and I just kind of try to get stitching done in between everything else going on in life. Now, hindsight, I think it would have been better if I had edited my photos into a photo collage and just printed them out on letter size photo paper. My guess would be I was probably out, or I wasn't 100% sure if that's what I wanted to do. So I printed them out on 4x6 prints. I print at home. Most of these are 3x4s or 2x3s. And I just use some plain white cardstock to mat them. And then I've got this one big piece that I can kind of move around. And I'm just going to make sure that they line up in the middle. This was about the time when I got smart and I made sure to really mark where the photo collage was going to end up. So when I stitched the left page, I didn't have to do as much stitching. So basically I only stitched up to the pencil lines and saved myself a little bit of work. And then came back and assembled the collage that's over here on the right. And I did intentionally leave a space open. I wanted my journaling to basically just stay within the parameters of the photo area. And instead of being strips like they're depicted on the sketch, I just kind of, at this point, I was like, we need to kind of consolidate some things and speed up the process a little, get this done, still have it be like balanced. So the pattern paper strips is a lot of work. It's a lot of interest. The stitching is a lot of work. It brings in a lot of texture and interest. So for embellishing, I chose to go simple and kind of save myself some work. I bought this like title die cut pack from the scrap room, and I think I used almost every piece on this one page. For me, it was just a really good solution to sort of knock out a title, fill in with some interesting die cuts and stuff, and I didn't have to sort of go digging into my 4th of July stash and kind of mix and match on my own. To me, this was just a really quick solution. I love these packs. I've used them on quite a few layouts. I did forget to hit record while I was gluing everything down, but you saw how I kind of arranged everything, and then I left this clip in real time where you can see I've got my journaling done. I don't know what happened. I just straight up forgot to hit record, and I kept going, and then when I went to go turn it off, I realized it wasn't even on. So there is my completed layout. Like I said, tons of inspiration linked below. I'm so excited to go watch the videos myself and see all the different takes on the sketch and find inspiration from everybody else. And as always, I thank you guys for taking time out of your day to come spend it with me, and I will catch you next time.